I just wanted to thank you so much, Beth. I am Mary Ellen Sullivan, and I think because we've got so many people in the Borough Hall conference room tonight, I was thinking everyone could introduce themselves. So we'll try and pass this mic around as much as possible. So Mary Ellen Sullivan, Chair of the SWAB, and maybe we just put it down here. Okay. Okay. And maybe Matt?
Matt Savello, Chair of the Manhattan Solid Waste Advisory Board.
Hi, Savannah. I'm on the SWAB.
Hi, Angela Ferguson, recent master's program graduate, first time attending a meeting after meeting Mary Ellen and Matt on a
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we had the
nice.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Bishop. I'm a second time meeting attendee, so happy to be here again.
Okay, great.
My name is Jennifer Goodwin, and this is my first time joining the meeting.
Great. Welcome.
Evening, everybody. My name is Damian. I'm a service designer. I'm part of Recycle Your Vape. I'm also a commissioner with the New York City Mayor's Office on Gender Equity, and I teach part-time at Parsons.
My name is Steven. I run a company called Q's. It's a circulation store in Bed-Stuy.
I'm Lacey. I'm the legislative director here at Borough Hall.
And I'm Rhonda. I'm the vice chair of the Brooklyn SWAB.
Perfect. Thanks so much for everybody introducing themselves in chat. We do have one new member. That is Audrey Jenkins. I'm not sure if she's here just yet. I know she let us know that she'll be joining remotely. Audrey, if you're here and you want to give a quick introduction, take yourself off mute. Okay, so she is not here tonight, but we will hear more about her. I'm sure she'll be joining shortly. But with that, thrilled to have a couple of new businesses tonight. We've got Stephanie O'Brien, new Brooklyn SWAB member, Brooklyn Creative Reuse, and as you've already met Stephen Hughes. So we are going to hear about how innovative Brooklyn organizations create reuse startups. And then we're going to hear from Damian Ashton, who's going to tell us about his vape recycling project. So we've got a lot on the agenda tonight, so we should probably get started. Thanks so much again for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming and speaking to the SWAB. So with that, I would say, Stephanie, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie O'Brien from Brooklyn Creative Reuse. I am going to share some slides tonight. Okay. Hi, I'm Stephanie O'Brien. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. I'm the founder of Brooklyn Creative Reuse. I founded the nonprofit in December 2024, and we actually just opened our first physical space in April of this year, which is very exciting. It's in Industry City. Our mission is basically to help Brooklyn become more creative and sustainable through collaboration and community building. We are New York City's first publicly accessible creative reuse center, and we're very excited to be able to be open to the public and being able to reach a lot of different people. A little bit more about why we decided to start the nonprofit. Basically, we were seeing some problems happening in our city. First, millions of pounds of usable art materials ending up in New York City landfills, artists, educators, and families facing skyrocketing costs and shrinking access to creative materials, and just fewer opportunities for artists in terms of exhibition and teaching opportunities. So we really wanted to solve these problems by opening a creative reuse center. As some of you may know, a lot of other cities in the United States have a creative reuse center. And I think one of our top things that people say when they come in and see us is, I'm so happy there's one in Brooklyn. I'm so happy there's one in New York City because there's one in the city where I grew up, or there's one in the city where I visit. So we're really happy that we are able to bring this to Brooklyn. So some of our main focuses include sustainability. So here are some pictures from our store that we just opened. When we say that we're focusing on sustainability, what we mean is we're trying to promote circular economy practices, really having supplies cycle in and out of our store, making sure that we're keeping prices very affordable so that people can know that when they donate things, they're also going to be able to take things home with them. We also collaborate with local organizations and nonprofits to provide supplies for their programming, and then also work with organizations to take their scrap materials or things that they don't want anymore. Another focus that we have is providing opportunities for artists. So as you can see here, we offer workshops in our space where we really just provide a venue for artists to make a lot of their own artistic and teaching decisions. We leave the ticket pricing up to them. We leave the schedule up to them, really empowering them to make a lot of decisions on their own. And then we also help artists, give them a space to show their work and sell it, which are the other two photos on the sides, providing sustainability and underrepresented artists with visibility, credibility, and selling and teaching opportunities. We've had a lot of success with doing pop-up workshops before our space, and now that we have our own space, we're really happy to be able to host them in Industry City. Another one of our focus is arts education. Like I was saying, we offer a lot of workshops. They come in all shapes and sizes. We've offered workshops learning how to basket weave plastic, how to quilt with scrap fabric, how to weave on a loom with scrap fabric. We've hosted mending circles and collage events. We are really focused on providing accessible arts education for families and community members who can't afford private programs. So while we do leave pricing up to the artists, we highly recommend that they do sliding scale pricing. We make sure that the teaching fee that the artist walks away with is going to be substantial so that they know that they are going to be able to make a good amount of money from teaching at our space. And of course, all of the workshops I just mentioned have a focus on sustainability. So we're never buying new materials. We're always using what we have or reusing. And lastly, we really are trying to focus on community development. So offering low-cost programming, creating a sense of belonging for people that come in. We partner with schools, which is the first photo. We partner with Brooklyn Public Library, which is the top center photo, and other neighborhood organizations such as Brooklyn Pride, and nonprofits where we provide materials for their workshops. And this really helps revitalize local creative economies by supporting artists and audiences. And a big part of what we do is really helped by volunteers. Myself and the board are like main people that work on the nonprofit, but everybody else that works with us are volunteers, and it really provides a lot of support for us. And truly, people are banging down our door to try to volunteer with us, which is very, very encouraging. So just some highlights of what we've been doing so far. So since we started in December 2024, we've taken in over 5,000 pounds of art supplies that people don't want anymore. We've been able to partner with 17 artists and 24 organizations. We've hosted 325 workshop participants, and we have worked with 93 volunteers. And I just updated this today because every day it is growing more and more, which is really great to see. So I hope that if you're in the area in Industry City and Sunset Park, you'll come and stop by. You can donate art supplies to us. You can see all the supplies that we have to offer, and you can check out our workshops where we use reused materials. Thank you so much.
And
some questions now, about the business, about how you got started. For example, I'd like to kick it off and ask the first one. I understand with a lot of reuse organizations, sorry, yeah, I know that. The sound is tough. With reuse organizations, a lot of times people say having individual space can be really difficult because of the cost. So how are you managing that? And yeah, what is kind of the key to making that work?
Yeah, it was our biggest worry when we got started is how we were going to find a space that we could afford, which is why we ended up opening an Industry City because the prices are lower. We felt like we had a little bit more stability being within the Industry City buildings. We have made it a goal to have the sales from the store pay for the rent and making sure that we're really like having a self-sustaining store, and then, you know, programming and everything else that we do can be, you know, from grants and donations and things like that. But we really wanted to make sure that like we weren't overpricing items because we want them to be affordable, but we also want the items to be able to pay for the space that we're using. So far we've been open, we're in our 3rd month now, and it's going really well. I think people were pretty worried that we weren't going to have enough materials, but I laughed at that because I know that every single person has so many things that they have in their home that they want to get rid of. So we have so many donations coming in every single day. So yes, I definitely, the location was our biggest price concern when we first started, which is why we also did a year of pop-ups and fundraising events and really trying to get the word out so that people would know who we were before we opened. And I see other questions in the chat, so maybe I should also answer those.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yes, at Industry City, the artists and craftsmen closed. We were hoping to partner with them, and we only overlapped for about a few weeks. But yes, we did get some of their excess, some things that they couldn't move, things that were opened. So that was pretty good timing, I guess, for us. And we do partner with a bunch of other places within Industry City, especially ones that offer workshops, because they love that they can come drop off things with us at the end of their workshops that they don't want to throw away. So we get a lot of like stained glass scraps and leather scraps. And we are still in talks with doing some like partnered workshops with other places in Industry City, but that has not happened yet. Yes, we also work with schools. So we have provided 3 schools so far with some supplies, just ad hoc, like whenever they come in, we don't charge them. If they want to provide things for their classrooms. So far we haven't gotten any like donations from the schools, but that is a good possibility that will be happening, especially at the end of the school year coming up. Or now, I guess.
About your events. Also, you've got the event coming up. If you want to talk about that, your event.
Yes, thank you. We are co-hosting a borough-wide art supplies swap with the borough president's office outside of Borough Hall on June 13th from 12 to 4. We have a lot of people signed up to come. People are very excited on social media. All you have to do is RSVP. There's no cost or anything, and you can drop off supplies. You can come get free supplies. Everything is free, and it's really meant to be a sharing event where people can. Yes, thank you. That's very nice of you to share that for me in the chat. And we're very excited to be partnering with so many great organizations. Including the Brooklyn SWAB, which we put your logo on there.
There's a question earlier in the chat from Allison about how did you find your space, and you might have already talked about that, but also how did you get funding? Are you a nonprofit? Did you already say that?
We are a nonprofit. In terms of funding for the space, we fundraised for the year before we opened, and then also use some of my money as the founder, like to back putting down money for the location. When we were looking for spaces, at first we were looking for an on the street brick and mortar. However, it was looking to be a little bit too expensive. So we started looking at more artist share studio spaces, which were a little bit less expensive. Some of them a little smaller, which is how we ended up at Industry City. Is they have some great spaces in there that are for artists. I think there are obviously some downsides, like we're not on street level. It's a little bit like harder to find us, but I think that the positives definitely outweigh the negatives.
Okay. And yeah, a real quick one, what are your hours, days of the week? And then we'll get to Maggie's question.
Yes, we are open Wednesday to Sunday. Wednesday and Thursday, we're open 2 to 7, and Friday to Sunday, we're open 11 to 6.
Okay. Terrific. Okay. Yeah, Maggie's asking about, oh yeah, go ahead, Maggie.
Well, I've got two questions in there. So I'm into measurement because that is the way that we can push zero waste forward, is to be able to say that this is economically viable. What's the repaired, reused value per month that you create there roughly? And what's the avoided disposal value of the reused tonnage?
Yeah, great questions. We have the pounds of waste that we divert from the landfill, but we don't calculate the value of it. To be honest, we really focus on getting things out on the floor. We don't individually price anything. We don't look up it's a hot debate in the Creative Reuse Center Discord if anybody's interested in reading more up on it, because there's a lot of debate about whether the time spent on researching the price of each individual item is worth it, or if it's worth more to just have things like cycle a lot faster, which is what we've been focusing on. So we actually price per pound a lot of the time. For like 90% of the materials that we have in our store, we price it by pound. This helps things get out quicker. It helps things move in and out faster. It also means less labor for volunteers and for the staff. So we actually don't calculate the value of the disposal.
Well, let me just push back a bit here because, you know, organics, right? Compost, you have a number per ton. And it's not as big as what it would be for repair or reuse per ton. And this is a selling point that is often not taken advantage of, that the city needs to hear. And that's my other question is, let me see, that's right at the bottom there. If the tonnage diverted is high, or even if it isn't, we could try to get a bill like Berkeley, California, which has the city give to the reuse company the same number of dollars per ton that as reuse for the city, I mean, as the city pays for export. And, you know, so you've probably heard of Urban Ore. You really should look it up if you haven't, but that's like decades old. And you know, they helped get this law passed in Berkeley so that they could get a stream of money for all of the reuse that is done.
Right.
Now they've done it in, excuse me, they've done it. I'm trying to speak here. They've done it in terms of per ton, but I would argue if we can develop, you know, how much certain items are worth, you'd have the database. It's not like you have to create this number every single day. You know, I don't know the kinds of things that are sold, but there's a limited number of things, types of things, and you could determine the value of these things.
All right, great. Maggie, thank you very much. We've got 2 people in the queue. I'd like to go next to Lael Goodman.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, you were saying that this exists elsewhere. I'm like a big fan of scrap. I've been in DC, which I'm not sure if it still exists, and Portland. I was just wondering, you are also mentioning the Discord. Like, how much did you connect with? I'm just curious, other similar organizations and how helpful were they? Um, yeah, in terms of like supporting one another and supporting this effort.
Yeah. We reached out to a lot of them. We heard back from a few and were able to speak one-on-one with a few of them. It was really helpful in terms of like deciding how we were going to do pricing because it's like I was saying, it takes a lot of time. And so trying to figure that out. The Nashville Creative Reuse Center, they do pay what you wish, and they're kind of one of the only ones that do that. And so I was able to speak with them about how they decided to do that, if it was successful, like things like that. So I spoke with them and I spoke with the Waste Shed in Chicago. And I spoke with a few others over email and DM, but it was really helpful to like understand how people operate and how they price, how they hired, like what the beginnings looked like, how they were able to grow. And two people who started a recenter, I can't remember what city it was in, they wrote a book also, which is very helpful. And it's like literally called something like How to Start a Reuse Center or something like that.
Thanks.
Very cool. All right, Beth, real quick, and then we're gonna go over to Stephen from Q's.
Thanks. Oh, Stephanie, congratulations. This is really exciting. I'm curious with your work about your work with schools. You mentioned that they get materials from you, but I'm curious in your partnerships if you also offer workshops to schools or if that's in your future plans and what that looks like.
Yeah, we have offered a workshop to one school so far. It kind of happened organically, like they were just looking for opportunities to bring the students somewhere where they can learn about sustainability. And uh, at the beginning of starting this nonprofit, I was finding it hard to say no to anybody, so I was just doing a lot of things. I mean, not in a negative way, just I was doing a lot of things, inviting a lot of people over. So we did do a workshop with some students in April. And we actually just got a grant from Brooklyn Arts Council to do some more. So we're very excited to continue partnering with some schools. And we've reached out to a few already. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, excellent, thank you. And we can circle back, and if people have questions later, we can circle back up, but definitely want to hear from our next speaker, Stephen and Quentin from Q's. So with that, maybe we can pull up their website and share it to everybody, and then we can take it over to you guys.
Thank you. My name is Stephen, and this is Quentin, my business partner, or Quentin and Stephen, or Q and S Q's.
All right, there we go.
We are Bed-Stuy circulation store. We try our best to keep stuff in the neighborhood and reward folks for doing so, using money. And let's not mince words, it's for money. So then we like a home good, like we sell stuff that's on our website. We like home goods, kitchen, and neighborly items. That's the way we think about it. People bring stuff to us every day, and we kind of just have two rules for intake. We don't take anything wet and weird, and you have to be able to carry it on the subway and by yourself. So that's the business. We didn't bring a slideshow, so I apologize, but we can just say some things that I think were similar to Stephanie's. In the main, we have rehomed 55,000 items in the 3 years we've been operating, just the two of us. We've been hit by 2 cars, and we've moved 4 times. So we've had 4 spaces. And in recent months, we've had 2 floodings. So that's the business, I would say.
Pretty uneventful.
It's just, I think, part of it, no? And I think the only other bit that would be sort of interesting is that we're a for-profit business. So we are, and maybe the other bit is that we have not taken outside capital. So the business is now, to us, what we call ramen profitable, but it's not sustainable without outside funding. So we put our own money in as a business partnership, and we have grown it to stay alive in these last 3 years and 3 months.
Did you say ramen profit?
That's what we say. Yes. It's not our word. It is, yes, it is just a term from the startup universe. We both met each other at a startup. Technically he was my boss and he's still my boss, and jokes. And then that term is from there. And so the idea is just that we have rent we need to pay in our own lives. We have some food, ramen to eat, and we actually also have families. We have kids between us, 3. Not between us, but between us. And we have to pay those things. So that's the amount of money we take from the business, and then the rest gets invested back in the project.
A bunch of different business models. Because like, just a true confession here, I got a table from Hughes a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
It was an adjustable desk. It was fantastic.
And you carried it on the subway by yourself?
No, I
We had
didn't.
different. We went through we've been through many iterations, and we can talk about that if you're interested.
So yeah, talk about some of the different business models you're exploring.
So the very, very first iteration of Q's was food scraps collection. Okay, so that was 3.5 years ago. We both still were working full time and just trying to get started on something on the weekends, and we decided to collect food scraps in Bed-Stuy. The main reason was you live there, and there were no food scraps drop-off points in Bed-Stuy, like you had in other neighborhoods with the green markets, for instance. And that was before the city rolled out the food scraps bin, right? So we did this for 6 months, hence the banana logo. This comes from like us being a compost collection business. We had a bike, a vintage bike, a trailer in the back, and we would just go around every Sunday morning. And we did up to 50 stops, I think, on that route. So it wasn't the best. Like, food scraps are super heavy, like the smell. And we would drop the food scraps at various points, but one of them was in Bushwick, community garden, and they would make the compost. So we would just purely collect it and drop it. And that was like version 1 of the business. Very quickly, version 2 was Eric Adams did this pilot program in Bed-Stuy with the orange beans for food scraps. So as soon as we started seeing the orange beans around the neighborhood, we were like, all right, time to do something else. And we started putting ads in Bed-Stuy, flyers that were like, we'll collect everything that DSNY won't collect. I think the ad was like, we'll recycle 99% of your shit. That was the ad. And we kind of just did it to first see what we would get, with the intent to make money from the things we would collect, but we didn't really know what we would get, right? So we did like a month or 2 of just getting stuff and looking at what we would get. But like, it was also like, we would get paint, we would get film plastic, we would get, but amongst the things we got, I would say 30% roughly was very good. It was still like, it was, the tumbler, like small household items that people just wanted to get rid of. And so a couple iteration later, we're at the version that we are right now, which is like, we take anything that one person can carry. We like things that we can rehome right away, though we still take e-waste, for instance, which is brought to the e-waste recycling point from the city in Greenpoint, like once every 2 weeks, or to big reuse. We take clothes. Most of the clothes we don't sell. We donate locally. In Bed-Stuy, we have St. Mary's, who's doing really good work. So they come and they collect from us twice a week. We still get things that, a small amount, but still things that we trash, that are just like not good to go. So recycling, DSNY trash. And still about 40% of what we get, we keep. And we try to upload to our website, price it very low. So the price points on the website are 1, 3, 5, 15, $30. Typically about 75% discount that what would be the brand new price of this item retail. We've built like a little algorithm to price things, and that's one of the parameter. It's like, can it be at least 75% discount of what you would get like a Target, let's say, right? Or on Amazon. And this is it. So we have way less categories than we had when we started. We're primarily focused on things that can be rehomed and reused right away. for now at least. It's kind of a low hanging fruit, right? We collected kind of everything, and then we're like, well, like a lot of it is still very good, so why don't we focus on this first?
Or your
It was
physical location.
like 6 months into the business, we did like this. The first version of the store was just a Google sheet. We would list like all the items that we had with some prices, and we would send the Google sheets around in like Facebook groups and stuff, and people would be like, "Oh, I want that." So that's like Venmo us like $3 to reserve it. Very quickly, we did the online store 2.5 years ago, let's say, for the sake of the conversation. And then this was from your apartment, so people would buy something and then come collect it, like ring the bell and collect it. And then it became a little too crazy. So we rented a first basement, then a garage, which I think is when we met you, like Stuyvesant and Green.
I like a car garage.
A car garage, like a 1-car garage. And now we're like in a basement, still in the same neighborhood, much bigger place.
Anything else? Let's see.
Do you repair, refurbish? So no, right now, no, unless it's very like easy to do. Like, you know, we have good wood glue, like we'll wood glue something, we'll like, something's bended, like but we won't go too crazy. In the early days, we would try like proper at your apartment, like you would like, you know, try to dismantle a toaster oven and look online how to repair it. You did this specifically a little bit. Microwaves, toasters. I think, yeah, maybe one day. I think right now there's so much we're getting that's still like functional, which you see when people like discard things on the curb. Like a lot of it is actually still good to go, right? They just don't have the room for it, or they're moving out, or so.
You collect that? Like if you see something on the street, you'll.
Rarely, because we get so much now that like we don't need more. So sometimes I'll walk by something and I'm like, oh wow, that's $15 like right away. So I'll just grab it if it's small. Yeah, we used to a little bit. We less and less.
Which answers Allison's question. We used to ride a bike actually for 3 years, and we just deprecated this part of the service. So the way the day would work was in the mornings, one of us would go pack orders. We would deliver those orders in particular zones, which wasn't always the case. We used to just like go all over Brooklyn for everything all the time. And so we had to like start like narrowing the scope. But as of our most recent version with the bike, we run 4 zones within Bed-Stuy only. So, and then like Northwest, you get the idea, Southwest, Southeast. We'd ride our bike every morning, deliver the packages. And then at the afternoon, we would like start processing all the mass that we would carry. Now we don't do this.
We would collect too. So it was like both.
It was a
delivering
quite circular.
And then collecting new things.
Yeah. So that was fun. And we ended up stopping this, and not because people would just drop. It's actually because we are a business, and as it turns out, this is the number one takeaway, I think, of our business, which is that it's a very noisy world. People are super busy, and you have to go market to them, unfortunately. Yeah. So
like I think we reached a point in Bed-Stuy where we would see the same customers, right? Come back all the time, both on the recycling end and on the shopping end. And we were like, well, if we want this business to be profitable, we have to double the amount of customers that we have at the door every week, let's say. And we kind of reached this plateau, and the only way to go past that would just be to spend way more time marketing the business. Okay. You know, in any possible way. Be that like do events, flyer more, do ads online, do like just be out there way more. And so, yeah, being like logistics, being on the road every morning was taking a lot of time.
Do you like the model that you have now where there's not a storefront for people to come with open hours? Do you want to get to the point of a storefront? Like, is that why you're able to keep your prices so low? Is because of the way you have it now?
You can keep the prices as low as your cog, all your overhead is, and our overhead is such. Our aim is definitely affordability. It's kind. I mean, I would so let's just go back for like 2 seconds. When we met, he was like, "What are you doing?" I had started a business before I quit. I worked at this job. We'd have lunch together, and he was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about starting a business." I was like, "Oh, cool. We should start a business together." And he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't care. I'll do like a cat food business that gets delivered to your door, even though I don't actually like cats. Don't just say. But starting stuff is interesting to me. He was like, I want to work on a climate project. So I was like, great, I'll just do your climate project. Let's do it. And then we like figured out slowly that this was the climate project we like doing together. We like doing, and I think makes some impact. We would agree. So that's his motivation. My motivation is like, I am very interested in like economic welfare. I think better standards in work and employment, dignity, things like this motivate me. So at the end of the day, like, I just think everything's expensive and I don't see why. And I think we need better business leaders to say so. So if I'm being annoying, that's part of the work that I want to do. So forcibly, I'm like, let's just make these prices and like go as hard as we can to like solve the problem around it with that constraint. So.
And the fact that you're not, the fact that you're not a nonprofit, you're a viable part of the economy. That's what you're moving towards.
We hope to
being,
become
right?
it.
We'll see. I mean, I think it's all a viable, not to push back, but just it's all an economy, and you have to make decisions about how you want to be funded. And I think also you have to make decisions about what you want to shape your business to be. So I cannot speak on nonprofits. I have friends who run nonprofits. We have friends who run nonprofits. We have friends who run startups. Just not to speak on nonprofits, I think like just from the startup scene, I understand why you would start a startup. You want to not be riding a bike, getting hit by a car. So you want to be in a nice, cozy office right away. You want to go back to your families on Thanksgiving and be like, I have a startup. Yes. And we raised 500,000, 1.5 million in some sort of seed round. Those are nice things to say. We cannot say those things.
Yes.
And or maybe ever, but more importantly, those people who do that, they're young and they don't really know what they were trying to build. So now suddenly at their table, they've got mad people being like, this is what you should do with your business. And that's what you should do with your business. People have never started a business before. So they're just going to conform to what those people are saying, thinking that it's independent. Now that we've done this 3 years, we're starting only at the beginning, like just feeling like this is the voice we want to have. These are the things we care about. This is what we value. I think that's much more difficult. We think it's much more difficult. So it's not just me, it's him as well, to create that value system if you've got checks and people in your ear. So, which is why we can just be like, it's this price. That's something we value, affordability. We want to do a volume business. So we want to process shit mad fast. We don't really want to be on Instagram because it's kind of obnoxious and narcissistic. So, but we're on it. Like, we're still people, but I don't think we were able to ask ourselves that if like other people were in our ear right at the offset when it comes to funding your business. So for us, we're just trying to bootstrap it, trying to make it sustainable, win it one day at a time, and we'll see.
To the values that you're talking about, I'd be curious to hear what led to the use of this phrase circulation store as compared to thrift store use. Great question. Can everybody hear that question? Okay.
What is your name?
Angela.
Angela wants to know, why did we call it a circulation store? Business reasons. We don't see that. You Google it. People haven't really taken that term. We decided that we wanted to take it. Taking it. So, this is still that. Like, we're not trying to pretend we're something else. We want to keep stuff in the neighborhood. That is the goal. And at the end, like the highest ideal, this is in a bunch of places. A lot of people own a partnership in those places, and they are able to pay people for the stuff that was given to them. Here's the real, like the whole all in the way we idealize the whole thing. There are soda cans in this world. So this is, what was this woman's name who's mad fun? So I like you. I don't know who you are, but we met Dan Knapp, by the way. We talked to Dan Knapp. So to Maggie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we never talked to anybody in this industry when we started, except for Dan Knapp. In fact, we called him, and then we actually called him a year later, and he was like, I don't know who you are. It's fine. But the broader point is this. She's right. If you can associate value to a material type, it might make an impact. It might make it easier to tell policymakers. So when we were doing this, looking around for ideas, it was very clear. this aluminum can for 5 cents only. People are willing to go like crazy to find this can, and they put in bags and they ship it off and they get their nickel, which is insane because it's not much. Ton of work. When we think of what we want to do the same thing, but for other materials. And the thing is, it's all there. Like that tumbler, there's got to be 100 of them in Bed-Stuy. A yoga mat, there's 100 of them in Bed-Stuy. And think about it. Go down the line. So if you're someone's like, I'm done with the yoga mat, what am I going to do with this? Why would you not go to Ideally Q's? You come over, it's already priced for you. You give it to Q's, and then it finds a home. Like, no problem. Just like a soda can. That's how we view it.
I have a question. So do you do anything to add value? Like do you clean it up or repair or is it really just turn it out?
It's mostly turn it around. We do clean things. We don't do clothes. We donate the clothes. So there's no like, washing the clothes. Like we'll find a pair of sneakers that we like, make sure they're clean and just sell them right away. The kitchen items, we, spray them. But you would be surprised by the number of items that we get that are like in very good shape.
Yeah.
Unopened things like enterprise gifts. No, but yeah. I think we get even 3 years in, we're still surprised. We're opening bags. We're like, oh wow, this is a brand new puzzle. This is like,
Still on.
Yeah.
The price tag is still there.
yeah.
Like how do you see yourself fitting in with big reuse, for example?
What's your name, by the way?
My name's Michael, sorry.
Michael?
Yeah.
Steven. It's cute. Michael asks, how do we fit in with other organizations? I just think that's part of the being for profit. There we'll be told if we can or cannot. So that's kind of it, I think. If we can make a profit and we can grow it accordingly and build interesting processes, then we will make it. And if not, then we will not have made it and there won't be room for us.
Yeah.
That's part of the risk. That's probably the answer to the question, I think.
You're also self-sustaining.
Mate, you know what I mean? We have very nice wives. They're very generous. No, but this is true.
Right, they're nonprofit.
They need.
Yeah, they probably are running in a certain way and they'll need funding. Everyone will need funding. We'll need funding at some point if we have the right capital project to think about funding. For now, we don't.
But geographically, they're located different places, so they're not like duplicative in that way.
And you're also, I think you stand that,
Yeah.
urban
Urban
order.
Order.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, they get paid for whatever they take off the tipping floor
Yes.
as a waste reduction mechanism. Which is basically what you're doing, but at a self-sustaining scale. And the point is that this does save, money. There's a value above and beyond what you're receiving. And it's like $300 a ton. Whatever we pay to dispose.
It's expensive.
That's just the fiscal cost, not the externalities of burning or burying them.
Right.
So it's probably closer to $1,000.
And how do things get to you?
People can come and people can come in person, like walking, driving. So for like up to until 3 months ago, it was 50-50. We would come to people, they would pay a small fee for us to come with bikes, e-bikes, trailers with 2 of them, and 50% of people would come to us however they want. And now we've closed the bike service, so everyone is coming to us, but we've integrated with Uber Courier, so people can send things to us in Uber Courier, which surprisingly is pretty cheap. And same goes for delivering things to people, right? That's kind of fun. So
I see. Yeah. There's a question.
Two questions on there first from Audrey. Have you considered a pay it forward program to help lower the cost or collaborate with mutual aid organizations?
Can you just be more, do you mind being specific about what you mean lowering the cost?
Yeah, it's pretty low already.
I kind of.
Hello.
Hello.
I might have missed some of what you said just because of the audio. So sorry about that if I did.
No.
I was just wondering because you were talking about making stuff affordable, which is cool, and you're setting the price at a low level. I don't have a sense of like how low or like how accessible it is. And so I was wondering about that and whether, because obviously you need to pay your bills, which is
Yeah.
so like if there are ways of kind of lowering the price even more, like helping the community kind of like pay it forward, which some companies have done, like I don't know, pay it forward for a slice of pizza or something like that. Like people have done that. And then there are a lot of mutual aids in the area, and like in Bushwick we have like swaps and mutual aids, and so a lot of the stuff that I get rid of, I take to the mutual aid or I post it to like Nextdoor, the app, and like people will come from all over the place to pick up stuff that I'm shocked that they want. Um, and so yeah, I was just curious, like if you guys work with them, if you speak with them at some level, because you operate on a different model. And so I just don't know if there's like a lot of community between you guys and other models. But thank you.
Yeah. In terms of the cost, the cost of the items on the website, they're very low. I think lower than that would be free almost. Which we've tried. Like we thought for some time, like let's keep like, I don't know, like 200, 300 items for free on the website just to get people to like kind of get to know us, you know, and then eventually spend the $1, $3, $5 that, but they're pretty low. And what we do is we keep items online for about 2 weeks before reassessing if we still want to keep them. And when we reassess, if you never reassess, then your storage space is going to blow up, right? So we reassess about every 2 weeks. And when we reassess, we have two options. We can either decrease the price. So let's say like a bike was a scooter for a kid was $15. We can repost it at $5, which is a price category below, or we can remove it from the website. When we remove things from the website, they get donated. So outside our shop, we have a little free store. People know it exists and they come every day, and every day there's new things for free, which works really well. And we've done different things over time. Like we've used, Salvation Army, like other places to give things. So this is kind of for the price point. I think it works pretty well for us right now. It's already very cheap. So 60% of what we put online will sell pretty fast, right? Then whatever doesn't sell, you have a long tail that you can decide to keep forever if you want to. We like to keep certain items on the website always, so that you can come to us and you'll find the thing. Like a can opener, I'll keep it. We'll always keep 2 or 3 on end, right? So that when you do need one and you find keys, you're like, cool, there we. So we have 250 items like that we like to keep at least one. And then whatever feels kind of like, oh, it's a one-off and no one wanted to buy it, like books, tons of books, for instance, we just end up sending them up outside, and we're trying to make this free store better and better and better, so that people kind of know that they can come outside and get free things at queues. We've used the free libraries, we've used other free stores in the neighborhood to get rid of free things as well. But then there is also things that we donate right away. So when we sort things that we get, some things will not even make it to the website, such as clothes. So for clothes, for instance, like we've been working with St. Mary's and Bed-Stuy, which I said earlier, but we're always looking for other potential partners. So what usually happens is a customer of ours will reach out and be like, hey, guys, do you know about this place? There's like a family mutual aid group, which I'm blinking on the name right now, which I've been wanting to reach out to. They are in Dumbo, which would be specifically for like diapers, kids' clothes, and like and so I think over time we'll have more and more. Like ideally, we would sort things in smaller buckets so that it's more relevant to whoever is getting it in the end, the donation partner, right? Right now, the clothes were like, all right, cool. Twice a week, St. Mary's will come and they'll grab 25 construction bags or 20 construction bags of clothes, mixed clothes, right? Someone reached out this week and was like, hey guys, I'm collecting like running shoes for this like very specific project. And well, yeah, we're happy to sort the shoes for you. That's fine. So we're still, we're very much open to sorting in better buckets, as long as people come to us to, like, this is the main thing. We can't spend like too much time like redistributing because we're very busy sorting and uploading the things. So if people come to the door, we'll gladly give things.
Okay. Kendall's saying that the Brooklyn Chamber has several different loan programs that are impactful, so something that you want to consider. And then Beth is asking, can you say more about what happens when someone buys something? Do they have to schedule a time to come? Is it just your physical location, or same thing with dropping off?
Cool. I'll just go from the beginning. So somebody will find our website. They will bring a box or fresh direct bags, usually how people haul stuff from their own home. It comes to our space. And we, funny enough, we kind of have, there are moments, we like to say, when people are coming by. We call them the 4 M's. They are moving, merging, maintenance, and misery. So those are the 4 M's. And when that happens, something in someone's brain triggers to clear out all their stuff and come to queues in Bed-Stuy. When that lands, we then sort all the stuff typically in 3 buckets: clothing, free cycle donation. This is good. Then within good, there's kind of a variation there, but more for the most part, it's just we take photos. Either we go outside and take a photo and I pose. People seem to know about this in our neighborhood. And then there's small items. And we've probably spent like 2 years trying to build the technology to like build like a super fast version of this, like almost a conveyor belt level of processing an item so that it then gets named, titled, ideally something funny but detailed, priced, and then bucketed to the right category within the website. So he wrote all the software for this. I usually came up with all the like physical stuff around how we should behave. It's not really my background or his. Well, it's his background for sure. He can write software, definitely. And that happens. And then it goes in a crate. And then somebody, ideally, if they're moving into the neighborhood or if they love thrifting, they will go to the website and they will receive an email or a text. You can sign up, by the way, on our website. We'll buy stuff. And then at the end of the week, typically, they will come Friday or Saturday from 12 to 6. The store, we are there Monday through Saturday, 12 to 6. But I think the most funny thing about this project is how much human behavior you can see at once. And that they send us things, for example, like a sex toy. That's a fun time. Or stuff from, like, you get it. That's the best thing I can say, honestly. So then that all happens. That will get sold and they come pick up. And that's the whole thing over and over again every single day, basically. Until they stop making stuff, right, guys?
It sounds like joy about what you're doing. You know, like it's not just about how much money can I make, but also
No, it's about, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I was also going to say that it also sounds like you guys are a perfect match for what Mag was talking about, which is to value each thing that you've kind of got that already cataloged.
The data.
Yeah, the Dan Knapp thing.
Yeah, well, the Dan Knapp thing that Mag.
Yeah.
Thanks. We like the work. I think it's noble work, not just because we do it, but like everybody in the ecosystem. Like, I've never met Stephanie, but the fact that they're making this happen out in Industry City, it's amazing. All the people doing mutual aid work, it's amazing. We have lots of people who are rag pickers. This is like a subculture of people who are just going through the free cycling thing, finding people they know they might sell for a discount. They're amazing. The canners, they're amazing. Like anybody doing the work, the DSNY, they're amazing. Like, you're doing the work, I mess with you. We mess with you. And that's that. Mutual aid, not profit, for profit. So we know them.
We know them, yeah.
Question about just like scaling and like, yeah, do you see like franchising this, like doing this in LA, different cities?
LA would be nice.
You know, whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know if you're keeping that info close to the chest or it's something that you are actually thinking about and sharing with folks. So obviously there's a number of different models to branch out.
I'm sorry, Damian. Damian asked, what would happen? How are we envisioning scaling? So the first thing is I like to separate the two. There's growth and growing, replicating this thing, and then there's scaling. We are trying to scale now, which is to say our single unit can have cheaper, lower input and lower costs per like our work, let's say. And we are already doing that. That is, we envision it. We're already making that vision happen. And the way we make that vision happen is that we can process. Right now, our next step is to try to be able to put 400 items on the store in a day with one person. That is our next goal within maybe 2 hours. Okay, so that is the goal. We'll achieve this, and we are kind of working like a lot, not tirelessly. That's normal. That's annoying, but like we work. This is our work, so we work on it. Just like you work, we all work. And then growth. So like I said, we're trying to sit with what we really want this business to be. I think the main way we talk about it is survival. And for every Uber, which is now profitable, like on a financial basis, we see there's got to be like 500 companies in the graveyard. And like, we just work hard. I don't really want to like have a scrapyard business. I'm not interested in a dead business. I'm old now. I don't feel like doing another one. Like, so I want this to survive and thrive. And we see a certain, sorry, you can tell he's like a software guy. I end up talking a lot about like the intangibles. So I often say but it is we. And we often talk about what is the most robust way to make this project survive. Some variant of a co-op where somebody owns a piece of it is the way we see it. You could call it a franchise. You could call it an affiliate. You could call it a co-op. You could call it a bunch of things, partnership. We're not really sure what those pieces are, but we don't really see it as like, this is a startup thing. It gets a fortune pushed on it. And then it goes to this thing, which ends up being deprecated by like Microsoft. Like, it's just not what we see. So that's the way we envision the growth portion. How can we build the most robust replication model? We don't have it yet. We, of course, would like to see it. And it definitely involves community and like some sort of skin in the game on the people who are in that community, which I think is sorely lacking in most business ventures. It feels very distant. There are people coming in. People just are consumers. They don't own that thing. Not really our thing. I'm not that interested. So.
I have a couple of questions.
How about one more?
Okay, well, one's a quick one. Just have you considered the value of real estate in any way? Because there are places like Transamerica that buy truckload clothes. But then you don't have to answer that. But the other question is, have you thought about like the wealthy suburbs? Like this might be a model that would work in the wealthy suburbs very well.
So we live in Brooklyn. Michael asks, should we be in the suburbs? Of course, like we should. We can get there. I think for us, we just need to think, again, it's survival. Like, this is a for-profit business. It's all laid bare. Do we make enough money in the area that we can service, or are we going to be underwater? Sure, if we get to that place. But the first things first is there's two guys. We're in a basement. We got to be able to pay for people who can like work part-time for us. That requires efficiencies somewhere else, et cetera, et cetera. So
I just want to one observation. If New York City residents have enough crap where none of us have to buy anything ever again. You're capturing we have an item, but are you capturing people who need an item? So are you inventorying people's needs and then matching those up?
Yeah, it's a good question. With short answer is yes. We're not doing, as in like someone can come to the website, they're looking for something, they don't find it. They'll see the sold out version of whatever they're looking for. They can tell us they're looking for it. So that exists. Are we doing a good job at then keeping it in stock and then getting to that person in time so that they don't order it on Amazon? No, not yet. The way we are thinking about this is these 250 items that I mentioned, like a coffee grinder, a yoga mat, a tumbler, we would like to always have a couple in stock. It's between 2 and 5, right? So that people know they can come to Q's and they'll find at least some staples at like a very good price, secondhand.
So you have a database of requests.
Yes. Yes. But I think the work over time might be, we have these 250 items always. And as soon as we start to run low, we'll tell people now that we're looking for them, right? on the other end of the spectrum, which is people getting rid of things, this is something we've experimented with in the past, and it works quite well, actually. Like, being like, hey, you want to get rid of things? Here is the actual items that we're looking for. We've tried that with very specific items, and you end up having one person bedside who's like, yes, I have this bike trainer, and I'm willing to either give it away for free or at a discount if I know that it can be reowned. So the short answer is yes, but I don't think we're doing an excellent job at it. Yeah, we'll have to over time. Like, I think a retail business is successful if people know that
You have stuff.
you have stuff.
You know who needs what, who needs what, and you say, hey, you just got a whole set of.
You get notified, exactly.
Double, you understand?
This was great, you guys. I really found this so interesting, and I appreciate taking time away from your business and your families, so appreciate you coming here. But also appreciate all the questions. And I think at this point we are a bit off schedule.
Sorry.
And, no?
No, you said sorry, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, don't be sorry, no.
There's enough slides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was interested, that's why. So we appreciate it. So I think of that, apologies, I know there's still some questions out there. But I really feel like it's time to get going. It's 7:35. We're about 15 minutes over schedule. So we're gonna keep going. I know Damian, we wanted to speak with you. We also wanted to see about taking some votes if there's quorum.
Yeah, we should make it.
Yeah, real quick, sorry to delay you a little bit, Damian, but hey Beth, I was wondering if you could let us know if we have quorum, and then we can talk through some of the executive committee topics.
Yes, we do.
Okay, terrific. All right. In terms of the executive committee, we've got about 3 things that we want to go through. We want to approve the May general meeting minutes. We want to talk quickly on bylaws, and we also want to have a discussion on an August recess, and then vote on if all agree that we take an August recess. So with that, I'd like to go to the first one and see, assuming everyone's had time to read the minutes, I would like to take a vote on approving the minutes. So if everyone is in agreement with the minutes, if they do not have any questions or clarifications, Debbie, do you have anything regarding the minutes?
No, I was just raising my hand too.
Oh, to vote. Okay, great. Let's vote on the minutes. Thank you, Debbie. You're leading us forward.
Yeah,
Everyone in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And real quick, Maggie, to answer your question, Quentin and Stephen mentioned they didn't do any repairs. They tried it in the beginning, but they've stopped repairing, is my understanding.
We have a majority vote, yes.
Okay, any nays or objections to the meeting minutes? If you could call out, since people are still in the process of lowering their hands. No? Any abstentions regarding the meeting minutes? And Jason, the minutes were shared today. So it was a quick turnaround, so appreciate it. I can, we'll take your abstention and note that. So appreciate that. Okay, and with that, let's move quickly onto the bylaws discussion. We did have a meeting on May 29th. There were 4 attendees, but it was primarily the people that have been working on the bylaws. So it was Rhonda, myself, Beth, and Savannah. So I think that probably giving it one more try regarding open discussion amongst the Brooklyn SWAB members. We will set up a time if anybody has any preferences on when that meeting should be, if it should be after hours, should be on any specific day of the week. you can put that in the chat and we'll work to accommodate it as much as possible. So let me know. And then finally, we would like to take an August recess, as that seems to be our habit. And real quick, everyone in favor of taking an August recess, if you could please raise your hand. And this is, again, a vote for the members of the Brooklyn SWAB.
We have a majority vote, yes.
Okay, great. And just since we've got a majority vote, if anybody has any challenges or difficulties with taking a recess in August, if you could please speak now, and then we could talk about it in a little bit more detail. And if not, we'll just move on. Okay, so you're still voting. Okay, Kendall's also abstaining on the minutes. Okay, so great. All right, with that, so I think that we've passed both things, so thank you very much. And with that, I would like to take it over to our final featured speaker of the night, Damian Ashton, to talk about vape recycling.
Awesome, thank you. It's not so much trouble. Is there a way to plug something visual? And if it is, I can.
Put a visual?
Yeah.
Are you on a Zoom now? Yeah, you could you email it to me? Or you can share it. Oh, are you on the Zoom?
Oh, I'm actually not on the Zoom. Maybe that's the easiest thing. I apologize. Well, maybe while I'm doing that, real quickly, if folks wouldn't mind shouting out when you hear the word vape or single-use vape, e-cigarette, what comes to mind? Oh, I saw a face expression.
Maine.
Okay. What is it?
Maine.
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 Maine just passed a gun law for vape.
Perfect. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Maine. I hear, yeah, gross. What else?
They use cartridges in my tree pit.
Use cartridges, okay.
Yeah. Trash.
Trash. Anything else? Litter.
Fires.
Fires. Sounds like this is like a pretty well-educated group. And I am not seeing, sorry.
Someone said scam.
Scam?
Scam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like this. So I think there are a lot of terms, and obviously I'm not surprised to hear in this group, that it's very waste oriented, a lot of trash orientation. And what I'm going to really go through and talk about, yes, the waste aspect, but just also how complex this issue is. I actually am imagining right now, though, hearing your feedback, that a lot of you are pretty up to date. If you wouldn't mind bearing with me real quick while I pull up this. Oops. I'm unable to pull this up enough. Might just go live here. Just have to register. So, I'm just gonna skip this. So real quickly, just to give you a little bit of background, I mentioned earlier, among a number of different hats, I'm a service designer. So what we like to do is kind of identify, problems within systems, and taking a human-centered design approach, try to resolve whatever those may be. It could be anything from how to increase, certain demographic voting. In this case, it was just really looking at the amount of just vapes that were on the ground, out and about. Be like, what's happening with these? What's going on with these devices? And really opening up a huge ecosystem that really revealed 3 different challenging issues regarding these devices. Obviously, one is waste, another one is public health, and obviously there's policy. And under the Trump administration, we did see Juul get really targeted. There's this kind of this crisis of teen vaping, and Juul is banned. But unfortunately, in the process, it created this loophole for these single-use vapes to really emerge in the market with both fruity flavors and a whole new redesign. With the Juuls, they were kind of these pod-based devices with like this plastic with the nicotine inside and like a charger, vaporizer. Now all of a sudden you have these disposables that I'll get to in a moment, but are incredibly complex devices that make it really hard to not just even throw away, but to also more importantly recycle. Part of the reason that this has been also a public health issue is that as we've seen a pretty dramatic decline in cigarette use over the last 20 years, we've also seen a massive uptick in teen vaping. And a lot of that has to do with these fruity flavors like gummy bear and tropical blast or whatever it may be, packaging that looks a lot like, candy. And I don't know if you'll be able to see some of this, but it's, a display where it's just like all these bright colors. And so, yeah, a whole new generation is getting hooked on these products at a rate of over 10% of high schoolers now using these devices daily. So it is, proven to be really, really problematic, with nearly 90% of those devices being these fruity flavors. We know in New York, New York does allow menthol, tobacco, things like that, but it's really these fruity flavors that are concerning, and we see them available. Maybe not New York, but you can go to Connecticut, for example, and I think Georgia. There are a number of states where these products are, technically legal.
And it's all nicotine, right?
Yeah, it's nicotine. Yeah. And they actually deliver on average. Most of these devices are like 5%. You can actually see what the nicotine percentage is. 5%. That's about twice as much nicotine per draw than a regular conventional cigarette. So yeah, they're highly addictive. So just to say, there's a public health concern, obviously. There's a policy concern around how, we're legislating, addressing, the usage of these devices, their availability. But how does that actually then translate to, I think, one of the topics that we're interested in here today, which is waste? And it translates to waste in a really significant way. For a device being illegal in New York City, in 2023, DSNY published their waste characterization study that found over 500 tons of these illegal, mostly illegal devices in our waste system, 1 million pounds essentially. So as I think many of us, well, at least you all in the room, seem pretty educated about, and using words like trash, gross, there's a lot of negative association. Most people, when I talk to them out in the street, don't even know that there is an issue. They just think they're these candy, fruity flavored devices that are better and more healthy than cigarettes, and they just kind of vanish when they're done. But yeah, no, there's a lot of waste. US PERG estimates about 5.7 of these devices are thrown away every second in this country.
5.7.
Yeah.
5.7.
Oh, sorry. 5.7 of these devices are thrown away. Single-use devices, yeah. So almost 6 devices per second. Okay. So 6.
Wow.
6.
I think that's a low estimate.
Oh, all right. That sounds like a lot to me. But anyway, so yeah, the waste issue is concerning just in terms of the volume. But when you get under the hood and you're like, okay, well, what are in these devices? To me, that's where it becomes, the alarm bells start going off. To get into the anatomy, and apologies, I can send this deck to you all.
Do you want us to share?
I was trying to figure out how to do it, but I hadn't registered for the Zoom yet, and so I apologize. No, I'll follow up with this deck, but basically what you have in here is you have and this is just a general, this is just one case. Every device is slightly different, but you have the outer shell that can be metal, it can be plastics. Now they have screens on them. They're Bluetooth enabled. So there's a lot of different componentry, but for the sake of this one, this is just an aluminum or metal. You start getting inside, you have, the actual liquid juice, which the EPA has regulated as an acute hazardous waste. So when it comes to the actual disposal, there's a gray area because it's actually residual hazardous waste, which is not really clear what license you need to actually handle these. So, which when I just tell you about the project we're doing to address this issue, we are kind of defaulting to that gray area and looking to be asking for forgiveness rather than for permission. But right now, so you have the e-juice, you have usually a lithium-ion battery. Most of these devices have charging ports, USB-C charging ports, and they're all contained that make them really, I mean, this is separated, but some of these other devices, like these Geek bars that have these screens, I don't know if you can see at all, but they're really difficult you need to like get in there with some surgical tools to pry apart all the materials. They're really challenging to then separate. So taking all this different information in, the question I at least had was like, okay, well, what do we do? And I started, first of all, just going on the interwebs and be like, who's working on this issue? And in New York City, I found at least 2 groups that were working on this. One was We Are Atlas, which was a woman who had set up boxes and bars primarily throughout, a lot in Bushwick. Maybe you've seen some of them. And she's just going around and like emptying these boxes. And then she was taking them to the safe, the DSNY safe drop-off site, which unfortunately they're just burning those. They're not recycling them, but at least they're staying out of our waste system. So she had her boxes. Then I also found this other group called the Vape Waste Project. And they were not so much focused on collection, but really more focused on the recycling infrastructure. And they had found a number of different facilities. I think one in Jersey, another one out maybe in the Midwest, that was receiving these devices, separating out the componentry and recycling what they could. The Midwest facility reached a point where it was just too much, and they said, "Sorry, best of luck." So there is a challenge right now, who is actually like recycling these, because most of those facilities no longer do that because it's really labor intensive. It costs over $1 on average to actually take apart each device. It's really labor intensive, but that's kind of all you can do if you want to properly recycle these devices. So there was an issue around awareness. Like I was saying, a lot of people just don't know the extent of the vape issue or waste issue. Collection and recycling infrastructure really, really limited. So how do we, address that? And then also, how do we, in addressing the public health issue, how do we kind of onboard people? Should they actually want to quit? Our project is like vaping agnostic. We're not here to like be punitive or anything, but provide resources if people do want to quit. And so one of the first questions we really had was, how might we like really raise the profile of this? And that's where the idea of doing like in-person monthly collection events during warmer months came about. And it's been really a powerful tool because now we've been able to, advertise collection events from Washington Square Park, Union Square Park, McCarran, out on like Troutman Open Streets, a number of different spots, and just like blasting social media with our flyers. And it's been great because people, the impressions, the last event we did, we had over 75,000 different social media impressions, a lot of robust conversation, a lot of like, thank goodness I didn't know what to do with these. I just have an empty box of these devices in my desk. And so these public events actually proved to be relatively ineffective in collecting the devices, but they've been incredibly effective in getting the word out. These stationary boxes are really where it's at. People know that they're there, and they are bringing their own bags, their own boxes from their home, and what some people call their, vape graveyards, and then tossing them in there. So all that to say, in terms of the strategy, these vape collection events have been really important in raising the profile, being able to talk about the waste and especially the gap and where there's a need to really get more engagement around particularly how to fund the actual deconstruction of these devices. And looking forward, there's some really big questions about extended producer responsibility legislation, which seems like the most automatic and like obvious go-to, but also it's a challenge because keep in mind, right, these are not legal. So it's kind of like going after a drug dealer and saying, hey, you're selling drugs, like where's the government cut for public health and da-da-da. It makes it really challenging. So we're trying to figure out, I guess, and this is also too where, it's really grateful to be here with you all today, not only to raise the issue, but also to see where there is alignment and collaboration to, address some of these challenges around actually paying for the disposal, because there isn't anything except for really incineration. There's a private group called Reconomy, maybe you're familiar with them. They're international, but do a lot of work in the States, and they really focus on business consultation and meeting EPR compliance. So we're really trying to think about the work of the product, oh my God, PSI, Product Stewardship Institute, Reconomy, and other actors, to where we might be able to find a combination of EPR as well as other means of holding, creating accountability and funding to address this issue. And just, I guess, in conclusion, I think one of the also large hanging questions is the recent FDA's approval of 45 new vaping devices, including these flavored devices, which on one hand, to me, is like alarming to see. It seems very regressive. On the other hand, one of the reasons why Juul was able to be was able to be tampered and addressed was because they were an above ground legal company. So my hope is that for these companies that are now being approved and are on the books, we can dump all EPR focus on them, which can recreate hopefully a public and like governmental like accountability and like and force, while also potentially a private force as well to address this kind of like illegal market. So there is some hope there. As of now, there isn't really a clear path. And if you all have any suggestions about any EPR like opportunities or other, ways to maybe pay to actually disassemble these, as well as the human infrastructure to be collecting, and we're all open for ears. But as of now, we're just kind of this random group of volunteer folks that are just working to deal with this. But yeah, if you all have any questions, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Maybe I think the best thing to do with them is take them when you collect them, and then find the people that profit from it, and then tie them up and shove it into their mouth and take their mouth cut.
This is being recorded, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you want to speak to that. I can as well, but yeah, thank you. Yeah. The lithium ion batteries, right? Incredibly flammable. Although there isn't any direct quoted like data, but we do see with the rise of vapes, the rise of dumpster, truck, and landfill fires, there's increasing evidence. But yeah, do you have?
Yeah, the material recovery facility, I went on the SWAB tour last week.
Wonderful.
The Sunset Park one. They said that they had approximately 2 fires a day from vapes batteries. And
They specifically said vapes?
Likely.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
Usually vapes.
I think they call them thermal events.
Oh, yes. She said fire on the floor.
Thank you for reminding me about that, because that's a huge financial cost. Right?
This presentation, I'm going to see it again.
Yeah, pretty soon. Pretty soon.
If you want to see this again with the slides.
With the slides.
We'll have it.
And folks, oh sorry.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, and folks from the Vape Waste Project should be there as well.
I think since DSLY trucks are increasingly catching fire.
Yeah, right.
Yes. You see data that trucks and vape consumption are kind of on a.
Maybe we just invite you back for a second time, and you can tell us more about some of the events that you're having, and we can dive into more detail on this topic. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, Debbie, real quick.
Oh yeah, I have a question for you, Damian. Are you partnering at all with the Office of Nightlife? Do they still have that, or did that go away with Eric Adams?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for bringing that up. I didn't include that in the slide, but so one of the questions around like vape collection infrastructure is actually building on the relationships that we already have with a number of different venues. For example, the House of Yes. The House of Yes just
exactly.
did an event there. My good friend, he has an organization or a group called Future Meets Present. He is working on with a grant to like within the nightlife space and the Office of Nightlife to support the industry in reaching zero waste. So we're in initial conversations about that partnership with the Office of Nightlife to pilot some of this collection. Also in conjunction with some folks that are building out AI like data collection boxes specifically for vapes that can monitor the box's volume, temperature, devices, etc. So we are looking to also pilot these particular devices as well with the office nightlife.
That's amazing. And I wanted to say, I think there's a relation between people who drink out of plastic, water out of plastic, and using vapes. I've noticed that just off, watching people, that a lot of people who vape don't see plastic as an issue at all. So they're buying a lot of single-use items, drinking out of plastic, using vapes. So I think it's also a big cultural health concern. It's the vaping, it's all the plastics that people are consuming overall. And then, of course, the vaping damaging the lungs directly. But yeah, the plastics and the vaping, it's all like one big terrible thing.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And that's as we start looking at more robust and systematic collection infrastructure, one of the key things we are actually looking at is the data. Not from weight to the different types of devices, et cetera. And that's also another way that we're looking for funding right now, ways in which that data we can use that data and send it out as well. Or at least especially grants that are looking for that kind of information.
And do you have a list of where your drop sites are?
Yes and no. Our partner, We Are Atlas, is likes to kind of keep things a little bit anonymous, so they are not very forthcoming with the boxes. That's where also this potential partnership with the Office of Nightlife will be really important, because it will provide a little bit more authenticity, a little bit more cover. Again, the acute hazardous waste makes this collection very ambiguous, the legality of it. So that's also where, the stationary collection boxes are, they're a little bit more secretive, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a great question though.
If anybody spots them, right?
Yeah. All right, terrific.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
No, and I appreciate it. I think now we're going into more of the nuts and bolts of the meeting tonight. And Steve and Quentin, Damian, we'd love for you to stay. We're thrilled that you're here, but we understand if you want to get back to your normal life. But you are absolutely more than welcome to stay and come back anytime. All right. All right, cool. All right, but okay, next up, I think we are looking for an update from Lacey on the Borough President's Office.
Hi, everyone. I'll be really quick because I know we're behind. I think the main thing is I am working on our executive budget response. My goal is to get it out by the end of next week. So I think I have the budget ask from Save Our Compost, but if there's anything else that you all want to bring to our attention to make sure that we're including in our response to the executive budget, please flag it for me as soon as possible.
Okay.
Right now I'm just kind of trying to collect the asks from all of the various allies that we work with across the borough. Okay. And yeah, personal news, I got my master composter certification. And a compost injury to go along with it. And I will not actually be here next month because I'll be on vacation. So I'll try to get someone from the office to be here, but I guess I won't see you all again until September. So have a good summer, everybody.
Have a great time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Excellent. All right. Next up are coalition updates. And I think I'll quickly give them to folks because Sherry, I don't think, is here. In terms of Save Our Compost, she said that they are collectively working on petitions and a request for people to call their city council member to encourage them to re-up funding for community composting for the coming fiscal year. So I believe she sent out an email to all the SWAB members and perhaps members and guests. So if you could take a look at it, and if you're so inclined, take action. Thank you very much. And then in terms of Reusable NYC, they had a meeting today, and they're focusing on 3 legislation They are looking at intro 781, requiring food establishments to accept customers' reusable containers. Also 69, that would prohibit city agencies from buying single-use plastic. And also intro 736, which is requiring recycling at street fairs, and also possibly requesting an amendment for accepting reusable containers from customers. They are also interested in exploring compliance with skip stuff. So that is the quick update from Reusable NYC. And with that, I think we'd like to kick it over to committee reports. And first up, legislative with Bella.
So we met last week and we were talking about the upcoming sanitation and finance committee meeting this Thursday. Did you guys?
I think it was a use of the prior budget meeting. So I think that's, if we do testimony, we will be submitting that.
Okay. And then another thing that came up was the
I think we're talking about the budget hearing. I think they used to not do testimony at the exec, but I think they are now, no? Or
they might.
Are they
I
not?
have to double check. Someone said no, so kind of going back and forth. Yeah. Oh, and Allison, thanks for putting up the Save Our Compost petition.
And then we were also talking about the PREA, the S1464A, A1749A to help get that, that there's the legislation to get that passed. And do you want us to send something to our committee?
I have an update on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so as of today, the Assembly member Dana Levenberg sent out a letter to all the Assembly members who are supporting PREA to ask them to help bring it to a vote, because Carl Hasty came out and said he's not going to let it be voted on. And they do say they have about 80 Assembly members that are willing to vote yes. So I'm going to email everyone the letters, and you can call your Assembly member tomorrow. And if they've already signed on, that's great. And if not, you can pass the memos to them. And then there's instructions about who to send it to, the Chief of Staff of Dana Levenberg. And yeah, so it's very, it's down to the wire. And of course, Hasty is being, terrible. Because there are about 80 Assembly members who would like to vote yes.
Senate pass it?
And the Senate pass? I can't remember. I don't think so. Did the Senate pass it, Debbie? Do you know?
So I wanted to sit on that too.
I don't know if the Senate passed it. I'm not sure if they passed it yet. I think they were waiting until Hasty passes it this time because they passed it twice already. So I believe they haven't passed it either. Yeah, so it's Glick's last, few weeks. So this was on behalf of Deborah Glick, this letter to Hasty.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Debbie. And there's a question from Betty Fibush in the chat. She's saying that there's a shortage of some of the DSNY bin that are now available from Home Depot. And she's wondering if the fines or enforcement on trash cans will be delayed. I've heard that that's true. I think it's delayed until September. Yeah, delayed until September, enforcement on the trash bins. So that's good news for anyone who does not yet have their bins. Anything else on legislative?
Quick update. I just checked. So it seems like they've gone back to the system where they're doing one public testimony all at once.
Okay.
So if you want to submit anything, that would be on the 10th, starting at 9:30.
June
but
10th?
It's for
For everything.
everything.
Oh, okay.
Wow. But if you've already submitted your testimony once, you don't need to submit it again.
Okay.
I think the only reason to do that would be like if there was some change between the preliminary budget and the executive budget that you wanted to highlight. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned about the other update.
Intro 36.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That we have a letter that we can send to members if they wanna help support street fair, waste for street fairs and farmers markets and events and parades and stuff like that. So we can send that out right after the call.
So for intro 736, which is recycling at street fairs and open streets that Bella's talking about, Wendy, Frank, Matt, and I, quickly worked on testimony about a day before the hearing, so there really wasn't enough time to get a vote. So we submitted it as personal concerned citizens. There's another person that Wendy gathered testimony from. So if anyone is interested in advocating as a personal citizen on this topic and they're interested in receiving this legislation, you can reach out to Bella and she can send you that information. All right, sounds good. Next up, outreach and events. So Jason.
Yeah, thank you. A few different things going on. First, we had our second tour of circular services this past week, which went well, open for broad community members. Thank you to Savannah for holding down the fort, and representing the SWAB at that event. Looking forward to doing more events and tours of local waste infrastructure soon. Second is we are continuing our efforts to build bridges with community boards here in Brooklyn. I sent out a survey to SWAB members earlier this week just to collect the community board that you are associated with, whether that's where you live or work, or if you sit on a board, etc. We're hoping to continue doing presentations at community boards to share more about the work that the SWAB does and share data metrics specific to that community district. So there's a question, yes or no toggle in that form as well to see if anyone is interested in joining for their community board. So good work happening there. The last thing is we're continuing to build a proposal that we can share back with the DOE to potentially partner on some schoolwork at the start of the new school year in the fall, given that things are closing down for the end of the year here. But I will say anyone who is interested in getting involved with any of those things, feel free to shoot me over an email. I'll put my email in the chat. Always looking for more folks to get involved in outreach. Thank you.
Terrific. Next up, organics. Allison, if you're here, if you want to give a quick update, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I don't have much really. We'll meet on Monday. I think you probably know that the April results for organics was 7.18% capture rate for citywide, but in Brooklyn it was 6%. So yeah, I don't really have much else. Please join us on Monday. And obviously, as I always say, if you're having problems in your building or you know someone who's having problems in their building, getting their organics program rolling, we're happy to help.
All right. Terrific. Thank you, Allison. And then next up, NYCHA. Susan, I think I saw you online. So if you have an update, that would be terrific.
The meeting is the day after tomorrow, Thursday at 5:30 for the NYCHA committee. And I got an email from Kristen saying that we'll be discussing the Polo Grounds campus where they have a pneumatic system, or they're putting it in for moving waste around those buildings. So that should be kind of interesting. And there's also the committee's going to do a lot of work going to family days at several campuses, and that's kind of like a block party. So it's a big deal at the campuses, and they'll be doing both education and also hopefully gathering some data also. And she also mentioned that the NYCHA committee will be assisting sanitation, doing some brown bin pickups at a couple of the NYCHA campuses, which so that those residents will have a chance to recycle in brown bins, which the most NYCHA projects do not have brown bin recycling. So that's it. It's tomorrow, Thursday, 5:30.
Can I add something about Polo
Please.
Grounds? They also have, it's like a hub for processing food scraps. They have, they have scooter bikes that go to some other nearby NYCHA properties, and they have processed almost 2,000 pounds of food waste from cafeteria at a cafeteria cultural partner school. We partnered with Compost Power to do that. Everything, meat, cheese, bones, all of it.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you. Alrighty, we've got a bunch of announcements in the announcement section, open floor. I want to highlight a couple because they're coming up this weekend. The Brooklyn SWAB and Newtown Creek Alliance are partnering up on a cleanup event on June 6th at the Maria Hernandez Park. If you can make it, that would be wonderful. I believe it starts at 10 or 11 and it goes until 2. There's a lot going on the 6th. Earth Matter is also having an opening celebration on June 6th from 3 to 5 on Governor's Island. If you RSVP, you get free ferry service over to the island, and it could be a great Saturday afternoon activity. And then there's some other ones coming up, especially the art supply swap at Borough Hall with Brooklyn Creative Reuse and the Borough President's Office. Does anybody have anything else they want to add, or either as an activity or any other topics they'd like to discuss? All righty. Well, terrific. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out tonight. And thanks again to our guests, Damian, Stephen, and Stephanie. We really appreciate it. And keep the updates coming. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.